Materials Podcast, hosted by Mike Turek, Emily Yates, Kelsey Coons, and Gerard Cuomo. Each month we discuss EMS news, medical science, and review actual EMS calls, bringing many educational opportunities to the listener. Portions of the calls have been altered to protect the privacy and identity of all involved.
Hello and welcome everyone back to the Medical Materials Podcast. Welcome everyone to the panel. The Maha Butchie, how are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, just ducky. Soon to be flight nurse Emily, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? God, I hope so. Don't jinx it.
It's not jinxed.
Put that to the universe.
Just got a phone call. I have a feeling. It's a good...
She got a phone call the day of, and they still haven't contacted me.
Yeah, but again, that's normal. Just normal. As you said, just normal. And, you know, unbeknownst to other people, you'll probably make it through orientation, so it'll be just fine. You know?
God, hope so.
Phil Foundation, how are you, sir?
How's it going?
Oh, it's just ducky. Hopefully you don't have to duck out.
Oh, I probably will.
No, we're not gonna jinx it. We'll make it.
I'm not even gonna say the Q word.
Nope. Don't do nothing. Wish happy
Cuisinart.
thoughts that Phil can stay.
Cuisinart.
Cuisinart, I love it. So, guys, welcome to the first episode in the month of May. As we know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we always do something mental health related in the months of May on the show. So, my big announcement for next episode is we're going to be joined again by Miss Joni Bonilla of Operation At Ease. They have a ton of things new going on that, you know, she wants to talk about and touch base on and catch up with you guys, which was really funny because I said, yeah, lots of things are different. People have moved. We're now doing it over, you know, Discord and Zoom, and, you know, like, it's still the same old show, though. And she's like, oh, it's really great that you guys are still together doing the thing. She's like, I'm kind of worried about it being a live show because, you know, sometimes, like, I can be really bad. I'm like, do you not remember our show? Like, we are an R-rated show anyway. Whether we're live or not, it don't matter. So that'll be a fun discussion, you know, next episode, which will be May 19th, Friday, May 19th. So she'll be joining us for that. And then since I couldn't get them on tonight's show, I will have them the first episode in June, I believe. But we're going to be hosting another very special guest, never before talked on the podcast. But there is a really cool organization that takes kayak fishing and brings it to people with mental health issues as like a therapy to help them cope with their mental health issues. So we're going to be joined with one of their representatives. So we'll give you more information on them next episode with Joni. But we got a stacked lineup for Mental Health Month, as we always do. Just remember, my big thing is I tell this to everybody, anyone who needs to talk, please talk. Our door is always open. Our Discord is always open. The DMs are always open. I'm not just saying that to say it, you know, to patronize like a lot of other people will. I will literally talk to you until I'm blue in the face. I will try and get whatever help that people need that I can do. You know, we've just being in this show, we've lost a few friends to suicide and mental health issues. And it touches base really close to home for all of us. So, you know, go on to medicmaterials.com. There's links for the Code Green campaign. There's also links for Operation At Ease. You know, you can find them there. If you can't, you know, Google them. They'll come up. Or, like I said, just reach out to one of us. It's not that difficult. We got the chat going. WW2 Girl, thanks for joining us. Blue Lion, thanks for joining us. And again, make sure that you guys share the show. That's the biggest way we grow, is that you guys share the stream. Be like, hey, I'm watching this. Facebook, YouTube, wherever you might be watching it. So before we get into our call review for tonight, let's dive into the rig check, and then hopefully you guys will have fun with this call. So the one big thing is we do have brand new merch available: shirts, stickers, water bottles, and the all-inclusive 2 Medic Materials Cronut. All can be found on the medicmaterials.com webpage. Just as a reminder, I did change the Patreon tiers. I still have a few salty veterans that haven't switched. So if you are a salty veteran, please go and switch your tier to the $5 a month donuts tier. We have had an incredible spike in popularity for the Patreon page. So I just want to thank everyone who's been donating $5 a month to Patreon and getting all the access. You're getting CMEs, you're getting Discord server access, you're getting, extra podcasts. Absolutely awesome. So thank you guys for that. Again, we do this live stream every other Friday at 9, but, again, tell your friends. Make sure that people are logged on to YouTube, Facebook, Medic Materials on both. And join us for the podcast live, as well as the end of tour live stream that we do after this. That's more of the entertaining show. And then, as always, we want to shout out to our brand new Patreons, Barbara and Roof and Ron.
Wow, what a great name.
I know,
Wow.
isn't it?
Wow.
And we want to thank and shout out our listeners in New Mexico and Panama this month.
Hey.
Yeah. So, like I said, it has just been growing. The whole Medic Materials brand's been growing. So, thank you for everybody who's participated in helping us grow. So now here we go. The system. You guys are going to be in a medium-sized city. It's covered by a BLS first response paid fire department and a commercial ambulance company who staffs their rigs with the configuration of paid EMT, paid paramedic. Now, just a note to say for this call, keep in the back of your minds, both paid staff are recent hires to the agency. So they're both fairly new. They're both off of OJT working on their own, but still fairly new. All right. There is.
Are they both wet ink carded, or are they
no?
experienced?
They do have some experience under their belt. They're just new to this particular agency. So the hospitals in the area. There's one area hospital. It's a level 2 trauma center with limited psych and cardiac capabilities. All right. You guys are going to be dispatched a Bravo priority or priority 3 to a bridge underpass within the city for a fight that's been broken out between 2 males. All right. Police are dispatched to secure the scene right off the rip, and the paid city fire department and you guys are dispatched to stage until the scene is deemed safe. So my first thing is, other than like scene safety issues, what other kinds of things run through your mind just with the dispatch of assaults?
Was there a weapon?
I like that, right? What did they get assaulted with?
Like, did they get, punched in the back of the head, or did they get their skull caved in with a bat? I mean...
Right. Again, is it... Go ahead.
If they're kicking each other's asses, what's going to keep them from kicking our asses when we get there?
Yeah.
Bingo, right? That's another big thing. How secure is the scene really going to be if they're beating the shit out of each other?
Like one cop, or is it,
Well, I would assume that because it's a city, you might get multiple units, but I've also worked in cities that you don't get anybody. They're too damn busy and they don't have the staffing. I can remember working in a city south of here, well, now southwest of or southeast of here, where, we would call for cops and no one would show up. Maybe you'd get one car 40 minutes later, because they just wouldn't show up. Oh, too many other things to do, So, I think weapons the big thing. You know, why are they beefing on each other? Are they going to beef on me next? And also, you know, if there's two guys already fighting, I'm thinking, like, how many more people are there?
Yeah.
Like, is this a group thing? Is it a gang fight? Like, what the heck could be, you know, the issue here? Hopefully.
Alcohol. Is alcohol involved, you know?
Right. Alcohol, drugs, whatever it might. Was this a drug deal that went bad and now everyone's fucked, you know? So, city police arrive on the scene and they find two male individuals rolling around on the ground attempting to just strike the fuck out of each other.
Bum fight.
Yeah, right. Oh man, it's so true. The bum fights that I've seen are great. They're just great. So the officers, once they get there, they see these two rolling around on the ground trying to, you know, beat the living crap out of each other. The officers attempt to separate the two individuals, and they're able to pull one of the guys off, and he goes then ballistic on officers trying to strike the officers. And he fights until he gets tased and placed on the ground. So that guy goes into police custody, puts into, you know, cuffs around the taser prongs. The second male.
Was his name Devil God by any chance?
Nope.
Funny story, but we'll continue on this.
So the second male is now screaming at the officers in what they described later on to EMS personnel as incomprehensible speech, while he's also secured into cuffs. All right. So is there anything that kind of worries you about that presentation in both of those individuals?
Well, two got beat in the head's incomparable speech. I mean, he could have a wicked head injury going on, you know?
Agreed. You know?
Yeah, so
it could also be like...
Or...
Was Phil talking? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Phil's really laggy tonight because...
It's hard to tell if Phil's talking. It's so infrequent.
Phil, was that like...
All right.
Did you finish your thought? Can we go to Miss Emily, the, you know, soon-to-be flight nurse?
Yes.
Wait, can you repeat it, though? Because I didn't hear it. I was talking over you. I'm sorry.
Is it, you know, just some homeless schmuck who's hammered, or, you know, rolling around and he knocked himself out?
Yeah, I'm wondering, again, kind of head injury thing. Is he...
Way to pigeonhole there. Wow.
Go ahead, Em. Stop the madness.
So that was my thing, was like, do you have a massive head injury? Are you inebriated, or is there a language barrier? Like, what is incomprehensible speech? Is it another language?
Or is he combative because his blood sugar is too low?
Oh, shit.
And that's why he's so feisty.
Don't even bring up blood sugar already. All right? Don't even start it. Here we go.
Is there a wet bandage somewhere?
There better be a wet bandage.
There's potential, so don't get me going.
Gotta love it.
Has anybody garnered the power of flight yet? You know.
Nope. So the
is there a golf cart involved?
So that was a great Patreon episode. Again, you want to hear about a great call that involves a golf cart? Sign up for Patreon now. The link is in the description below. It costs you $5. What a great episode!
I just never knew low blood sugar could give you the power of flight. But hey, you know.
Hey man, you never know. So
moving on.
both the paid fire department and the commercial ambulance are staging away from the scene. Now that the police department has secured both suspects, PD advises that the scene is secure and requests EMS and fire to proceed on in. The ambulance arrives on the scene a short, few seconds later, and the crew grabs their first in bag only. So EMT paramedic only the first in bag, and moves towards one of the police officers. Both the EMT and paramedic are given a full report on what transpired prior to them getting onto the scene, and are told that one man was tased and the other is just sitting over there just screaming, in cuffs. So the paramedic moves over to the guy who's tased. The EMT goes over to the gentleman who's just screaming. Now we're going to go separate ways. Paramedic introduces themselves, begins their, initial physical exam. They find that the tased guy is conscious, alert, and oriented ×3. Airways open, patent, no fluid, no debris. Strong peripheral pulses ×2. Breathing is deep and rapid. Rates somewhere in the mid-20s to be estimated. And there appears to be a large hematoma developing over the guy's left eye. There's no active bleeding anywhere that they can see. And this dude is irate and agitated about the entire freaking situation. All right? The paramedic is like, all right, so what the heck was what transpired to start this? And the guy tells the medic that he was walking home from the corner store. Phil, your camera's on the spritz right now.
I know, I'm trying to fix it.
Camera's sneezing.
Apparently now Phil is the Mahabuchi and the Mahabuchi is now Phil on the cameras. So
I'm trying to fix it. Hold, it's a cheap Walmart webcam. I don't make that much money as a medic. Come on now.
No, why not? Come on now.
Second lowest paid agency in the county. Come on.
Woo! Woo! So, let's see. So the where the heck was I? So the guy tells the paramedic that he's walking home from the corner store, and this other dude jumped out from underneath the overpass, swinging a really fucking heavy book bag, and just clocks him upside the head, knocks him down to the ground, and the dude got up swinging. Punches are exchanged, they roll around the ground, finally PD gets there, and they separate him. Next thing you know, he's back on the ground with prongs, in his back because he's fighting with cops. So he reports not losing consciousness, he was awake the whole time, and he describes the feeling of a significant headache developing on the left portion of his head, right around where that hematoma is developing. All right? Keep that in your back pocket. Let's move over to the EMT. So the EMT is with the other guy who's still yelling. He's screaming now in what can be said as comprehensible speech. He's screaming, "Get the fuck away from me. No one come the fuck near me," just over and over and over again. He's on repeat, right? He's currently lying on his side in what they say is the fetal position. His hands are locked behind him, and he's trying to do one of these things to get his head buried in his coat, so he hides his face. All right?
The fuck is he, an ostrich?
The EMT attempts to try and talk with this guy and try and get a story because he has no idea what transpired. The paramedic hasn't told him. However, the man only tells the EMT that everyone there is trying to kill him and just to get the fuck away. All right? So is there, with the presentation of these two guys, is there anything that you guys are kind of thinking already? Is this still, altered mental because of a medical? Is it altered mental because of trauma? What are you guys kind of thinking?
Is he, does he say if he's, hearing things, or?
The confused guy won't actually say anything other than "get the fuck away from me, don't come near me." He is on repeat. There's no other things that this dude is saying.
So that definitely sounds more towards a mental health issue, schizophrenia, maybe a bipolar, kind
that
of break going on there.
Sudden paranoia.
But it could be a traumatic thing too. You don't know this guy if he's a homeless guy he could have been nailed by a car or something and hit his head. You don't know unless you can examine the guy.
Right.
Find out what's going on. It was a traumatic incident that screwed him up. You don't know, but without an actual physical exam and checking things out, you don't know. He can't get a history because he's not telling anybody.
Right, 100%. So the chat's been fairly active. Let's see. People are saying they were originally thinking weapons, PCP, something like that, like mental health issues. Let's see, ETOH, drugs. So there's definitely like a lot of people are thinking, altered mental status for substances at this point in time. I like your guys' thought of also this could be like, a mental health disorder kind of thing. Trauma, right? We don't really know yet. All right. So the EMT tries to get a physical exam, but realizes that this dude is not going to allow him to touch them. So he just kind of does the smart thing of doing the I'm just gonna look and see what I see. I'm not actually gonna put my hands on this guy. So he finds that he's conscious, he's alert, but he's confused. They tell me that they were unsure whether he's altered because he's altered medically or because he just is distracted and won't answer. Because again, he's just saying, get the fuck away from me. Airway is open, it's patent, it's clear, fluid, debris. Breathing's easy and unlabored. Rates estimated to be in the high 20s or low 30s. Pulses aren't checked again, but they report no signs of hypoxia or visible, signs of cyanosis. However, there is notable bleeding from the nose, and he's still just constantly doing this yelling. All right. So if you guys are gonna proceed with these two, let's split them up for a second. How are you gonna proceed with the paramedics guy, the guy who got tased? He's not altered. He's telling you full sentences, not confused. He's got this headache, and he's got this hematoma on his head.
I mean, what was in the backpack that hit him? Was it, a ton of textbooks, or was it beer cans?
What's really funny is no one ever told me what was in the backpack. So I'm just going to assume we have a Ronin situation where we'll never know what was in the bag.
I mean, I'm assuming it wasn't textbooks, but
right. I mean, hell, it could have been rocks.
Yeah, probably
point,
rocks.
Right?
I'm gonna guess rocks.
Yeah.
Crack
Who
rocks
knows?
Honestly, with the way the guy's behaving, you probably did smoke some crack because paranoia and the way he's screaming. If it's not a mental health thing, it's probably crack.
It's all those meth bugs in his brain.
It's so the meth bugs. The chat's saying throw an ice pack on it. Has he been put on the stretcher yet? No, he has not been put on the stretcher yet. Stretcher's still in the truck.
I mean, he needs a good ALS workup. You get tased, you gotta check the ticker and make sure nothing going on with that. I mean, that's the way I do it. I mean, unless he says, yeah, no, I'm good, and then you can call a doc and clear him. But
agreed.
That's the thing.
Blue Lion in the chat just said bath salts. That's also another.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's also another really good thing to be thinking in this situation. That's an awesome thought process here.
Yeah, depending on the year. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, right.
Remember when everyone was eating each other's faces over bath salts?
Right.
Yep.
You
remember when people were getting cracked out on whippets?
Oh my God, the whippet. Yep. The
Maybe
whippet
that's
craze.
what was in the bag. Just a ton of cans of keyboard cleaner.
Yeah. But doesn't that usually discolor the nose and stuff?
Prolonged use, yeah.
Yeah.
It turns it like nicotine smoker, like the cigarette smoker, yellowish pink, like they do on the fingers.
Interesting thought process.
Wasn't that a downer though?
No.
That wasn't a stimulant.
So it's like Adderall. It depends on whoever uses it.
Oh.
Intriguing. So So
Interesting.
I agree. There needs to be a cardiac workup. There should be an ALS workup on the other dude, right? Make sure that hematoma and like there's no soft spots in his skull, blah blah blah. Especially with the headache and whatnot. No blurry vision, this, that, the other thing. What about the dude that is still like going bonkers? How do you guys want to proceed with that guy?
I mean, he's in cuffs, so I mean, you can do a lot of things, even though he's yelling. You can still do things. I mean, he's not gonna be swinging at you.
You can do things. You absolutely can do
No,
things.
I know he's saying no, but at this point in time, he is altered. He's not in his right state of mind, so you can do things. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
he's
not.
not. He's not gonna hit you. He might try to bite you or lick you, but he's not gonna do things.
It's been a while since someone tried to lick my hand, bro. a straight out of the box quote from the Mahabutchi. After he yelled at a doctor on the phone.
Yep.
Here's what we're gonna do, Doc.
Em, how are you gonna proceed with this guy?
I mean, so on scene right now, you have one paramedic and one EMT, right?
And paid fire that are all BLS providers.
So you have a bunch of EMTs and one paramedic.
Correct.
And right now, like, I think you need to reallocate that resource to the combative, confused guy. Like, I agree that, like, you got tased, you need to check your heart. I think that anybody that gets tased, think of it as, like, a seizure. Like, you're letting off all this lactic acidosis in your body when you get tased. So, like, I think that is an ALS patient. But if you have one paramedic right now, like, switch. Do a quick flippy floppy here.
I like
Yeah,
that.
there's nothing saying the EMT can't put this, 12 lead stickers on the guy, print the 12 lead off, and like run it over to the medic.
Well, I just think, and I really think they need to like focus like who is the sickest patient right now, and like I'm concerned for both of them for head injury still, but like why this man is still alert and oriented and talking to me, that's gonna be the BLS patient first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, and EMTs can do the neuro check. EMT can do a 12 lead on the stable guy. EMTs can do that workup on the stable guy. That's talking to me, and yeah, he's
who's stable for now. I'm not saying it won't change. Like I still have a concern for a head injury for him.
right.
He's bleeding. He's the one that's bleeding out of his nose, right? Like
no,
he hasn't.
No,
he's on the ground.
Oh, it's the other one.
The crazy guy.
Bloody guy.
I mean, like I think they need to flip here.
I think that's a really smart battle plan. Sadly, it doesn't happen. The paramedic actually decides to go Butch's route. Hey, I'm going to head back to the truck. I'm going to grab my cardiac monitor. I'm going to bring it back over. And I'm going to, start doing ALS-y things to this guy who got tased. They throw the 3 lead on, and it shows sinus rhythm or sinus tach, more or less, 130s. All right. They don't run a 12 lead, which is surprising, but they do get baseline vitals. BP via the NIBP cuff returns as 156 over 99. Respiratory rate 26 regular. SpO2 96% on room air. So again, nothing really to write home about. Ice is applied to the hematoma. They don't ever feel the head for skull injuries. They just say, here's an ice pack, stick it on your head. And the paramedic requests another unit from their agency to come and transport this guy to the hospital since they have 2 patients that they can't put in the same ambulance. Let's shift over back to the EMT. EMT's still trying to attempt to talk to this patient who's still yelling at them. They're yelling, get the fuck away. But in between the times of, yelling, get the fuck away, they're still saying that the providers there have come there, they found him and they're trying to attack him, trying to kill him. So the EMT is pleading with this guy like, hey, we're not here to attack you. All right? So there's a reason why I told you that these guys are fairly new to the company. Okay? So remember, they're not new providers, but they are new to this agency. So the fire department's still on scene. They're mostly just standing around, staying out of the paid provider's way, because that's what they typically do if they're there
No,
first.
stop.
Right? So,
Never.
right? This is until one of the firemen, like, call the EMT over, like, hey, bro, get your butt over here. And the EMT obliges. They walk over to this fire guy, and they're told that the EMT, they tell the EMT that the man yelling is a known homeless man in the city. And he lives across town. He lives with another dude and a girl. Sometimes, you know, they share that girl, but it's like a threesome across the city. And he goes on to say that he has known outbursts like this, and believes that governmental black suits are always out to get him. That most of the time people just, you know, dismiss him, they sedate him, and they take him to the ER because he's just a waste of time. So, knowing additional information like that, is there any tactical change to how we're dealing with that guy? Is this like, okay, we're thinking something different? Are we just going to toss him on the stretcher? There's some chats that are like, hey, let's just throw him on the stretcher. Let's secure him to the stretcher. Let's handcuff him to the stretcher and just get a move on. What are you guys thoughts here?
No,
because I think now it kind of changes to where, you know, you almost have to kind of like go along with whatever kind of like psychiatric outburst. Like if he's hallucinating or hearing things that like people are out to get him, you kind of have to do like, hey man, you know, I know a safe spot for you to go. Like my ambulance is secure. You know, the hospital has security. They'll keep an eye on you. No one's going to actually hurt you. You know, like not so much like play along. Be like, yeah, they're out to get you. Sorry, buddy. You know, give them the sign of the cross and walk away. Don't do that. But
what? That doesn't work?
No, it does. I personal experience doesn't work.
You
Because, you know, partners are assholes.
hey, stop.
Hey, I feel personally attacked.
No, not you two. When I worked in a large city with, you know, certain people.
nice.
I mean,
There's some people on this chat will let you know that even if people yell at me and try to swear at me, I will still try to make that patient laugh. Feel like when they tell me to go fuck myself, and I tell them, was that name hyphenated or is that all spelled out? Right, Em?
Oh yeah. I mean, the other thing is like
That was always my favorite.
You know, he's kicking and screaming now. If you just go to like pick him up and toss him on the stretcher.
Yeah,
he
you're
can
gonna
hurt
make your life
hurt
so much
himself,
worse.
Well,
hurt one of them.
Yeah, and that's, you know, one of the things that I always tell my EMT students is like, all right, you know, when we are forcing somebody down, right? You watch cops all the time throw someone on the ground and then stand.
How well
on
does
them,
that work?
right? How well do they, you know, sit there and go, oh, okay, sure. Like we've talked in other episodes where, you know, EMTs and paramedics just grab people and like hold limbs down, and how well does that actually work? Like,
Not at all.
It's almost as good as telling someone you just need to calm down and relax.
Yeah,
right?
go tell your significant others, like, hey, just calm down. How well does that actually work?
Right.
I'm right, you're
Why are
wrong.
you
You
getting
calm
so
down and relax.
I 100% will go manic if somebody tells me that when I'm pissed off. Do not even fucking come at me with that shit.
It doesn't work? Come on.
But it's
Has it ever?
It is definitely something to keep in the back of our heads, because we always just, you know, natural human instinct is to get pissed off, right, at this guy because he's being ridiculous, and you know, whether you believe it's a waste of time or not, they are making the provider mad, so now the provider's going to lash out in anger, and that's typically, hey, fuck off, stop moving, shut up, sit down, and force them on the stretcher. And again, how well does that ever, you know, end?
But here's the thing too, is like, this guy is known, you know, he's a low society, like high risk patient. Just because, you know, he's homeless, he's a waste of space, whatever your feelings are on this, this man is probably an unmedicated like mental health patient. That
Right.
is a medical emergency. Like that is a patient. He is a risk to not only himself but clearly society. So like this is still an issue we need to take care of. This is not a waste of space. This is not a waste of our time.
Right.
Like this is a medical emergency.
So this call reminds me of when we were talking about the guy that they pinned face down on the stretcher and then he died.
Ugh.
Right? The guy is that guy clearly was having severe alcohol withdrawals, right? We were concerned
Yes.
more about seizures and the pointed significant medical problem that was scaring everybody right in the face, and then they were just like, yeah, whatever, he's drunk, he's an asshole, whatever. This is kind of the same thing. He might be, crazy or altered or acting a fool, but there's still something going on that he shouldn't be acting this way, right? And
honestly, you can't prove that it's not a head injury yet.
Right.
Like, yes, he has all the history and a great story to say that he's, an unmedicated schizophrenic or schizoaffective disorder, whatever you want to call. But, like, we also cannot prove that this is not a neurological event.
Right. Bingo.
I don't have a CT machine in the back pocket.
Exactly.
I wish we did. So the second ambulance, which is a BLS ambulance from the paid department, arrives on the scene. They're given a report by the paramedic, and the patient with the hematoma, right, now with an ice pack on the hematoma, is secured to their stretcher of the BLS ambulance. Paramedic says, toodaloo, go 10 minutes to the hospital. And they just leave. I have no idea how fast or what happened on the way to the hospital with that guy.
Brain popped out his nose.
They missed the depressed skull fracture, and the guy died on the table 10 minutes later. Who the fuck knows, right? I would have liked to have seen a little bit more done with that guy. Like, they really didn't even evaluate, at least on scene, for anything. They just said, oh, yeah, cool, look, bro, here's an ice pack, throw it on that hematoma, see you later, goodbye. Yeah, that's not okay in my book. So
you still gotta get a good neuro eval on, him, and you got to do things, but
right, like no other paramedic was, called to the scene, no nothing. It was one paramedic is deeming it BLS. See you later, goodbye, go to the ER.
Part of that neuro assessment is like continuous neuro assessment. So like you were on scene when the cops pulled him off. So that's a very fresh injury. Like, yeah, your first neuro might be okay, but your second one might not be, or your fourth one might not be. Yeah, I know you're only 10 minutes from the hospital, but like that's something that I'm going to reassess constantly.
Right.
I'm going to make him tell me these stupid phrases all the time.
Right.
Touch my finger, touch your nose, I'm doing all of it.
Agreed. So now we have only the confused guy with the EMT on the scene. Other guy, gone. So primary EMT, now having finished their discussion with the fire guy, walks back over to their male crazy patient. He has been helped to a seated position by the police officers, and he's still telling them that they are all there to kill this guy. The EMT, reiterates and tells this guy again, they are not from the government. They are only there to help protect him. So the EMT
having worked in an inpatient psych for a couple of years, when you have somebody who is, in crisis. That mode where they're in crisis, and you could tell that person till you're blue in the face that you're not doing it. You can't break them out of it. They're in that loop.
That's their reality. That is their reality. They truly believe this. Like they're not acting like this because they want to be an asshole.
Right.
That is their reality. It's like a dementia patient. Like, am I going to sit there and convince a dementia patient it's not 1970? Probably not.
No.
So you have to try to play into that reality and try to get them out of it. Like, move them away from this thought somehow. So,
right. So
sedating them is not the way to go. They're just coming at them with needles at this point in time is just going to make that situation worse.
It's going to make the reality real.
Right.
Unless they are physically going to hurt you or,
themselves.
Yeah, sedating this person is not the way to go. But trying to convince them helping them somehow in their reality at this point is the way to go with this.
I 100% agree, to a point, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. So the EMT tells him that they're gonna bring him to the ER, they're gonna bring him to the hospital, and the hospital is where they will protect him from the government. So at this point, the paramedic has brought out the stretcher to their EMT partner, and the medic and EMT stand him up. They're able to, have the police officers move the handcuffs from behind the patient to in front of the patient, and then he's placed on the stretcher and secured with seatbelts. There's no fighting involved. The guy is like calm. He's a little squirmy, and he's still super anxious, but he's not really screaming at this point. All right. The medic looks at their EMT and says, "Hey, you've been with this guy for like, I don't know, 20 minutes now. You're gonna transport this guy to the ER. I'm gonna get up front and drive." So stretcher's placed in the back of the ambulance. Transport begins to the local hospital. One of the things that I specifically asked was, where was police during transport? And they said that they told the cops to ride in their own vehicle following behind them, which I highly disagree with, but we'll get to that point later.
What purpose does that serve?
I have no idea.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't generally, like, if they are in hard restraints, which that's what handcuffs are, the only one who can get those off if I need them off are them. I don't have a magic key. So if the guy starts crashing and I need them off, the only person that can save this guy is that cop, and they might be at a light 2 miles behind me.
Yeah.
I'm fucked. It's the stupidest thing. Have PD ride with you at all times. But whatever. That's all I'm saying about that. Thankfully, nothing happens with this guy, but it could have. So PD follows behind the ambulance in their patrol car. Man's still anxious, again, and he begins to start yelling that the hospital is not safe. Like, you can't take me to the hospital. It's not safe. They'll find me there. And EMS tells him, like, listen, dude, it's safe. This is the best place for you. And they go on and they begin what they said was a very limited secondary physical. The bleeding from his nose has stopped on its own, so no wet bandages this time, Em.
Thank God.
There's what they notice as developing bruising on the face, but only some minor swelling around both cheeks and around the chin. ABCs are still intact. He still, like, pulls away from providers if they try and, like, put the pulse ox probe on or check a pulse or anything like that. So all they do is say, fuck it, I'm just going to do respiratory rate. They count that. It's in the mid-20s, unlabored. So is there something specific, because we don't have a long transport time, it's only about 10 minutes to the ER. Is there something that you guys want to see this EMT do within the next 10 minutes?
Try and get, allergies, meds. Like, maybe he's supposed to be on some sort of antipsychotic that he hasn't had in, a month, 2 months maybe.
I don't think he's ever going to give you that information if he is as manic as they're portraying this.
Yeah,
he has no idea.
He's as paranoid as he He's not going to give the information. And why do you want the information? What are you going to use it? That kind of,
Yeah. So the chat has some really interesting things going on. Let's see. Blue Lion to the cops says protect and serve themselves. I love that. They also are asking about pupils. Pupils are never actually checked on either patient.
On anyone.
On either one. Let's see. Blue Lion thought maybe the bruising and swelling on the jaw, Lafort 2 fracture, also kind of something to be thought about, right? Put in the back of the back of the head. Let's see. Where was the other one that I saw that was really interesting? Oh, Val says that we should just sing to the guy, chill him out. Also,
you have no idea how well that works, though.
I know,
honestly.
right? Like, just
You
throw
have
on
no
some
idea how well that
tunage.
works.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, throw on some nice, relaxing tunes and just chill. I love it. So the EMT begins to ask for demos and meds and history. The guy offers a name, which is never, you know, like, hey, is this... The guy's being crazy, already saying that the government's after him. How well are you going to believe that he's going to give his real name? Like, I personally would be like, oh, yeah, that's totally a fake name, right? But he offers a name, but denies anything else. Now saying, hey, these are questions that only the government fucking asks. Like, why are you asking me this? And completely shuts down on EMS. Starts again yelling at this EMT to not fucking touch him over and over. He's now pulling away from the EMT, sliding and leaning over on the other side of the stretcher, trying to get as far away from this guy. So EMT looks at their tablet, they open up their charting program, and they search for this patient,
Ugh.
right? Maybe they can find something there. They are actually able to find him. The guy did give him a real name. And they look in the history, and they find an included history of schizophrenia and post-traumatic stress. Records also show that he should be on flufenazine. Flufenazine, I believe is how you say that. And that's the only medication that's listed. All right? So the EMT asks, like, hey, are you taking anything? And the guy's like, I'm not fucking taking nothing. The government gives these meds. Like, I'm not fucking taking anything. Who would fucking take these things? So at this point, the EMT just says, all right, I'm done with this. Like, I'm done, right? I'm going to leave this guy alone for the rest of the transfer. He's already anxious. He's angry. I'm not making him any more anxious, not making him any more angry. So remaining time for the transport, it's only a few minutes. Nothing really occurs in that time period. He remained anxious. He never takes his eye off the EMT. And again, he just repeats, don't fucking talk to me. Don't fucking look at me. Don't fucking touch me. They arrive at the ER. They offload him to psych staff. And I will give you an update in a little bit. But not really a lot. It's not one of the typical calls that we, do on the show. It's very BLS, focused, which I think is great. But overall, where do you think this call lands? Like, did these providers do a really bang up job? Did they miss a bunch of things? Like, give me your overall sense of how the call went down.
I think they just wanted to be off the scene and not deal with people, especially the screaming guy. They just want to be have him out of the ambulance in the hospital and not deal with him anymore. There's not a lot of training for us when we go to school for these things. Like we're not trained well for psych patients and things like that. Like, how much training do you get in medic school for psych patients, really?
Not a lot. It was,
mental health in general.
Right. It is sadly overlooked in so much of our jobs is the mental health aspect, ours and patients.
Yep.
You're taught, oh, we'll keep them calm. Well, what if they're not fucking calm? Then what are you gonna do?
And when do you pull out the happy juice? Like, that's the thing. When do you sedate a patient? When they start beating the hell out of you, beating the hell out of their patients, or when they're just screaming at you? Like, where is that line of when do you sedate a patient? When do you not sedate a patient? When do you do things you have to do to help that patient? There's a lot of things to consider for that patient.
Right. Now, Em, you're shaking your head. Where do you feel in here?
So I think they missed some things. I think they just kind of, he's mental health, put him on the stretcher, get him to the hospital. I think they're very lucky that nothing happened. I think they kind of dismissed the whole head injury thing. At the end of the day, he wasn't an assault. You don't really know anything about his history. Is he an alcoholic? Now he's at higher risk for bleeding. Like, there's a whole slew of things that you don't really know. And I think they dismissed a lot. But I agree with Butch, like, my favorite thing to say to people on scene is they're like, oh, you're a nurse. And I was like, no, bitch, I'm just an EMT. Like, my assessment is the exact same. But the one thing that I do have that was different in nursing school is, like, they teach you mental health. And pre-hospitally, like, there is really no training for mental health at all. Point blank period. It's always your safety, which is huge. And I agree with that. But then it stops there and you just move on.
Right. I mean, I can remember the one big mental health case that they taught in my paramedic class, and it was about scene safety. You enter the room, right. they magically stab you. Oh, you entered the room, you didn't deem it was safe. And right. That's it. They don't really, I don't remember another mental health case where all you had to do was talk to them or right. really interact with them on a humanity basis, right? Just be a good human being to these people. I think a lot of that you get once you're out of school and you're learning it as it's happening. And that is not when we should be preparing for this and learning about how to interact with these kind of patients.
And it blows me away because of how prevalent mental health is in society today. I mean, like, blows me away that this is not something they're focusing on in school.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, when I went to school, it was just kind of like, hey, these exist. These disorders exist. This is what
right.
you see.
Right.
This is the medication they might take. If they get froggy, pull over, get out of the ambulance, lock them in there, call for police. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, how well's that going to work? As they drive away in your fucking truck. I think there's a need, and if, the overall arching, education place isn't going to offer mental health, people that do education on the side have to be, doing the education. They have to partner with, different mental health programs and provide this access to the education as CMEs, or definitely something of that nature, to be able to get us more information on how to deal with these people, because I agree with everyone here. They missed a lot. This is the quintessential tunnel vision. Oh, they're acting crazy. He lives under a bridge. This guy over here told me that he's already crazy. It has to be that he's crazy, and go with it. And that was it.
He's got the Al Capone issue. He's got, syphilis that destroyed his brain. There you go.
Yeah, it's bonkers to me how people can get so, fixated on confirmation bias. It has to be this. So no matter what I see, I can see a skull fracture. No. Fuck that skull fracture. It doesn't exist. They're schizophrenic and they're just crazy. It's not the head injury that caused it.
Well, it's not even that. It's like the other guy, he got beat in the head and he's got a hematoma going and he got tased. So the medic's like, well, I can do something with that. I'm just going to go over here and get away from the screamy guy. So,
right.
It's like,
yeah.
No,
And I agree with you guys and the chat. Multiple people in the chat said these guys should have switched. They all agreed with you guys in that the paramedic and EMT need to switch in this case. And I do too. The EMT could run the 12 lead on the other guy and then run it over to the medic and be like, hey, is this good? Yep, it's good. Cool. Run back. Easy breezy as that. So I definitely think there was, some missed opportunities for a lot of things here. The update that I do have is this guy was ultimately transferred to a longer-term psych facility. This guy, had 0 drugs in his system. Apparently, this guy had not been taking meds for a long period of time. So the transfer was to get his delusions and, hallucinations under control, as well as to get him remedicated. I don't know anything after, he got transferred. But even the hospital believed hey, this wasn't alcohol. This wasn't drugs. This was a mental health issue because he was off his meds. I'm going to talk a bunch about schizophrenia here in the coming things, but there was an episode that I literally just listened to, and I don't honestly remember which one it was. Maybe you guys can help me jar my memory, but we were talking about another schizophrenic mental health patient and the difference between schizoaffective disorder and schizophrenia. And one of the things, like, you had the line of the night that day. I will find that episode and figure it out for later on in the show and let everybody know. But we have to remember that schizophrenia is the hallucinations. That was terrible. The hallucinations, the delusions, all of that wild and crazy behavior of different reality. Whereas the schizoaffective is all of that plus mood swings. So, so you get like that bipolar, manic, depressive, type of action along with the delusions and stuff like that. And in that episode, you go on to elaborate and say that that's why, you see the difference in meds. You see the schizophrenic patients on the antipsychotics, but the schizoaffectives on mood stabilizers.
Mood stabilizers, right.
And again, you see that difference because there is, for 90% of it, it's the same symptoms. For that last 10%, that mood swing changes violently at times is that schizoaffective disorder.
But that's the clue on this patient is the Prolixin that he's on is an antipsychotic. And
yes.
Who would ever know that? But everybody has a smartphone and can Google it. And I encourage you, Google the fucking meds these people are on.
Yes.
Nobody's going to know every antipsychotic that's out there. Google it. Be like, what is this? Is this mood stabilizers or antipsychotic? Done. That's all you need to know.
Fucking right.
That's it.
And that's exactly what we have to do. I couldn't tell you how many times I've Googled, meds because I have no fucking idea what the... Oh, yeah, look at that. It's used for this, cancer drug, whatever. No fucking idea.
But you know what antipsychotics do. And that's the thing is when you tell people when they're learning pharmacology, learn the classes. What do antipsychotics do? What do mood stabilizers do? What are those side effects? I don't need to know every nitty gritty thing on each specific bed. Learn the classes.
Exactly. Yep. I 100% on that. So I kind of did a deep dive into schizophrenia because that's what this gentleman was suffering from. And one of the things that I looked at was who gets schizophrenia. They don't really have this is why people get it. But you're looking at a lot of genetics. They believe that your genes and your environment also play a role in, people developing schizophrenia. Your chances of getting schizophrenia are 6 times higher if one of your parents, siblings, or another close relative have schizophrenia. So again, think about family history in your questioning about things. But
the crazy thing with schizophrenia too is it's diagnosed later in life. So very rarely do you see somebody under the age of 30 diagnosed with schizophrenia, or maybe late 20s, early 30s. That's the prime time to diagnose schizophrenia.
Bingo. So that was literally my next paragraph
Sorry.
No. You guys do this all the time. I set the stage and you steal the show. It's great. In most people with schizophrenia, symptoms generally start in the mid to late 20s, though it can start later up to the mid 30s. Schizophrenia is considered early onset when it begins before the age of 13. Onset of schizophrenia in children younger than age 13 is extremely, extremely rare. So symptoms that you're looking out for, right? The psychotic symptoms, hallucinations, delusions, disorganized thinking, speech, and movement. You're looking for negative symptoms, lack of, emotional expression and social withdrawal. Cognitive symptoms as difficulty paying attention or challenges using information. And when you're when you and they are trying to communicate, you might see difficulty in, like, they are having difficulty expressing emotions or thoughts. Again, it could look like confusion, right? Like aphasia or dysphagia or something like that. They're unable to process information presented to them during the conversation with you. They experience different varying patterns of, like, speech and stuff. So it's really fast or it's really slow, right? They have, like, illogical thoughts. So that's that hallucinations and delusions. And they can
have like that, like, flight of ideas. So they're like
Yes.
jumping from topic to topic to topic to topic.
Exactly, right? And that's the next thing, is, like, they appear distracted by their own thoughts. So, like, they can be very jumpy, right? They see, hear, and perceive things that aren't actually there. And they have they have a significant, hard time remembering things that they just talked about with you, unless it's in their delusion or hallucination. Then, again, that is their reality. That's what they know, So there was a 2015 study conducted by Psych Central assessing language and communication issues with people with schizophrenia. And participants showed difficulty with higher order language processing, like understanding implied information, understanding humor or metaphors, understanding emotion in language, as well as, like, rhythm and tone, and using language to exchange ideas. And they also experience withholding inappropriate thoughts or comments. So they'll just, like, blurt out whatever the fuck they're thinking. So again, think about, like, you're almost talking to, a developmentally challenged, like, autistic person or something like that doesn't have these social characteristics of holding conversation or understanding language. So this is why we kind of have to avoid different things when we're communicating them, right? So we avoid negative, dismissive, or accusatory conversation, right? We don't want to, like, say to them, like, hey, that's not true, it's not real, it's imaginary, it's all in your head, because that's just going to bump them up the, up the angry ladder, right? We're not going to be judgmental of them. We're not going to give them, like, pressure to talk, like, hey, bitch, you have to tell me this stuff, and just avoid arguments. Like, if they believe it, awesome, cool, go, I tend to, and this is where, I said to a point with you earlier, Butch, in that I will utilize their delusion or whatever to gain information about what they're seeing and stuff like that. But I'm not one to play into it. Like, I don't try and tell them, like, oh, hey, the hospital's going to protect you, or this, that, the other thing. Because if something happens at the hospital, the next time when I say, hey, let's go to the hospital, they're going to protect you, they're going to freak the fuck out, or they're going to remember me for whatever reason, God knows, and they're going to hate my guts the next time I see them. So that's just my personal opinion. There's no real study on what exactly to do with these individuals in getting into their delusions, but I don't typically play into it.
Well, yeah, it's like when you deal with somebody with dementia, like they're stuck in, like, a certain time frame, so you have to. And I play into it is not really the phrase you want to use, but you have to use that information to
cater to your needs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Use that to get the information you need.
You don't.
Somebody schizophrenic is you have to use that information to make it work for you.
And you don't, like, sit there and be like, you're right, the hospital's out to get you, or everybody in the government's going to kill you. Like, I don't feed their delusion, but I'm going to twist it to get what I need out of it.
Right.
And there's subtle ways to do it. I mean,
And that's it. Be subtle.
And arguing with them is not going to do it, because
it's not doing anything.
You yell, they're going to yell. You just got to be like, oh, dude, like,
right.
Hey, man,
Agreed, 100%. Do you guys have anything else to add before we wrap it up for this evening?
Goddamn bum fights.
Goddamn bum fights. I remember so many of them when I used to work in the one city. Oh my God. It was It was a 2-3 a week basis. Like, it was great. And always a different reason as to why they started. Absolutely wild.
He drank out of my tall boy. Yeah, all right, buddy. Come on.
So, guys, just remember we have End of Tour live coming on directly after this. We're going to take a 5-minute recess and then come back with End of Tour. So grab yourself a refill. I know I will. And yeah, we will see you next time on the podcast. Thank you very much for watching. And donuts, guys.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you want more information on the podcast or to send us a call review, please visit medicmaterials.com/podcast. To learn more about earning continuing education credit from listening to this episode or others, check out Medic Materials, cmeacademy.thinkific.com. We appreciate your continued dedication towards EMS education and helping us advance the field. See you next time.
the woman had stabbed her husband, then set fire to the house, trying to
So,
kill everybody involved.
That's what I would do.
so I totally fucked up, guys. 100% fucked up. There's always a fuck up. 100% always a fuck up.
Well, now you ruined the segment.
Oh,
What'd you do?
I totally fucked it all up. So right now, people are staring at the screen going, hey, I don't see anything. Yep, that is by design. Sorry. But before the show, because we were late, I had forgotten to set up the screen so, for end of tour. So now I'm scrambling into setting that up now. So bear with me, people. And I will be, be there in a second. But yeah, totally fucked it up. I'm really good at
Can they
that.
hear us now?
They can hear us.
All right.
Yep,
Hey, how's it going?
they can totally hear us. They just can't see you. Because, that's not important. Who needs to see anybody?
Helen
yeah.
Keller didn't have to.
Let's just throw in Butch here. You're my last one there, Maha.
Butch, you can't do that to me.
See, this is what happens when you guys distract me and I don't, I don't do what I'm supposed to do. It's terrible. All right, let's see. Now, boom.
I've been called a lot of things,
Hey,
but
there we
distraction
go.
is not one of them.
Now we're in the game. Now it's better.
at
Everyone
that.
can see us. You guys look
Hey,
so
there I am.
beautiful and handsome. Oh,
Hold on, let
see,
me-
these
let
are
me- let
things
me
that you
fix my
guys
beard
have
like
to
a good
remind
person.
me to
Yeah,
do. I'm
You gotta-
sorry,
you gotta comb
guys.
through it. There you go. You gotta
Yep.
comb through it.
That's right. Or just cut it shorter so then it just stays where it stays.
I think I'm gonna do like the full Viking beard, like a couple braids in it.
So when I could actually
Oh God,
grow
please don't.
long,
Well, now I'm going to.
Get some beads in there,
so when I could grow it long, I had it about 8 inches down and I curled it into 2 knots. And now, as I've gotten older, all of it curls, so I have to keep it short. Otherwise, it curls outwards and looks terrible. So, yeah.
Like an old-timey boxer.
So, yes, right? Hold on. Hold the phone. I'm assuming that one of our wrestling fans is sitting here doing this because a Facebook user just popped on and said, "Good evening, sitting here listening to you guys and watching Backlash. I didn't even realize that Backlash was on tonight."
Well,
Interesting.
Derek's gonna leave.
Dude, you forgot your belt.
I thought about bringing it, but then, my dumb ass would, like, put it on and forget to take it off for a call.
Oh, dude, it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect.
Your demented patient would have really loved that.
Are you kidding me? They would have been like, and the champ is here. Oh, dude, it was great. I
Walk
see
in.
I see shit like, on Patreon with that last episode and you just sitting there with your belt on. It was glorious. I said to everybody on that episode that we're all going to be getting like title belts and hanging them in the back, just as props. Everyone should have a different one. He already has the beautiful big gold belt with NWO spray paint on it. So he's got the original NWO belt. So no one can steal
Courtesy
that
by
one.
design.
But yeah, no, there should be, maybe for mine, I will put up a poll on like Medic Materials, like Facebook or something, and let people decide which one I get. As long as it's
You
not
have to
like
get-
the Divas belt from like 2008, I'm good. I don't want the
The
floating
overgrown Barbie
fucking
earring?
butterfly on my wall.
You shut your mouth.
So yeah, guys, how's life? How's things? This is our more relaxed part of the show, so we don't have to be the serious. Oh my god, that is the best fucking idea ever. WW2 girl just tossed in the chat, do a medic materials belt. I'm going to
Oh,
work
you
on that.
should.
I am so going to work on that. Yep.
Can I wear the chaps like Shawn Michaels? That's all I care about. I have the cowboy hat.
So
Bro,
That would be all you care about.
If you wear chaps, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Is your ass hanging out? Or
No.
like because that's just fucking creepy.
The way you collared your balls that one night on the tour. Now you're wearing chaps, bro. I'm telling you.
Do you want me to get the gimp mask too? Like,
oh my
Well,
God. You guys are too
the
bad.
ball gag, I'm telling you.
Yep. There you go. It's just bad.
I never said that the chaps would or would not be made out of all latex.
That's gross, man. Hey, everyone has their kinks and fetishes. If latex and,
Now,
belts
here's the
are
thing.
yours, go ahead, man. More power to you.
You tell me you have to talk more. I make a joke and you're like, hey man, that's not right. Come on.
Stop talking.
I never said
Shut your
don't
fucking
talk.
mouth.
I
You're
never
starting
said
to sound
don't
like my dad, Tarek.
Never mind. Never
Yep.
mind.
No,
Now
say it
I'm-
with your chest.
Now I'm just gonna stop
Stay
talking
with just-
shit.
Your dad hasn't said anything for years, so. Oh!
Oh, that is true.
He's
Look at
one
that.
of the that whole incident was one of the main reasons I got into EMS. That and the other,
The other Patreon episode,
yes,
Joke's on you.
right?
yeah.
Fall through the ceiling. You're on to a table. We flop like a fish. What?
Oh my God. So, because we missed it last week, and Phil's at work working, so
Right.
Phil can't go home in the
I
Phil
could,
Go
I
Home
mean-
segment.
Fuck this place.
I'm going to attempt. I'm going to attempt the Maha's random shit segment. Oh no! Look at that, and it's the donut countdown because everything fucked up. I
Didn't
love,
work on a thing.
you
Didn't
know.
work on a thing.
So this is what happens. I was explaining it to Butch earlier. If I take my hard drive out of my computer, right? Because everything's on the external hard drive. If I take that out, everything in OBS loses where it came from and just populates other things. So like
Yeah.
Maha's random shit was just populated with the, donut intro for the podcast. I didn't do that, but I pulled my hard drive out. I pulled it in. So like every week I have to look like an idiot, not knowing what the fuck I'm doing and making mistakes like this, which I'm sure people get a kick out of, which I'm okay with, whatever, but it really blows. So I'm going to try this again, the old fashioned way, and
If
do it
only
this
you had
way.
a producer.
There we go. Maha's random shit.
Yeah, there he goes.
There you go. I just had to do it the old fashioned way. I can't
All I-
apparently
all I
use my
heard was the
Stream Deck.
scream.
That's okay.
Wow.
That,
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Scream.
all I heard was the scream.
The Scream is easy. There you go. All right, the floor is yours to the Maha Butchie. What do you got
All right,
for us
so
this week?
I did, apparently there's some, I don't know, random shindig going on over in England today or something. I don't know. Some guy got a crown or something on his head, apparently.
Was that today? I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Do you know it's the first time in 1,300 years that the king has been crowned in May? But that's not the thing I want to bring up.
That is
They have
random,
this thing
though.
called the coronation, that coronation chair he sits in.
Yes, the big wooden thing.
Big one thing. It's got a stone underneath it.
Yep.
It was built like that stone was made out of a piece of like some red sandstone or something that was made 1,300 years ago. It's been moved around to keep safe from like different wars and different like World War II, Civil War, shit like that. And apparently, the way the legend goes that if the sitting ruler, king, queen, whatever, doesn't use that piece of sandstone under the seat, they're technically not the actual monarch at the time. It's a really weird thing that they do.
So they're
Every
not
king
an
and
official
queen
monarch.
has every king and queen that's gone through there has to have that underneath that seat to be the actual real monarch.
so they
Or
just
it's
said
not
this.
official.
They just said this random piece of rock is like, yep,
Yep.
this is so important that we can't be king or
This
queen.
is it.
This is
That's
it.
the thing. Yeah, if it's not underneath that
This
thing,
is law
it's
now.
That's fucking stupid. Like,
wars have
Them's
been
the
fought over
rules.
this piece of rock.
what
And they've
fucking?
replaced it with they replaced it with other rocks because they thought it was being stolen, and
I swear, the
England
whole
is
British
goofy, bro.
crown is like the dumbest fucking thing ever.
and there's so many weird ceremonies. Like they have this other thing is this like this golden spoon that they have to like anoint them in oil with that they pour out of like this certain flask that they put the oil in it. They got to rub on their bodies and their head, and I'm just
It is so bizarre. Like, I don't understand a word, like a lick of it. But
Nope.
That
yeah.
was that
Especially
was like
since they don't hold power. They're just there to suck up taxes. That's literally all they
totally
do.
They don't do anything. They drive around, they wave at people, and they say, "Yep, how you doing?" Yep.
Yeah. What a big
God,
waste
these
of
make one.
government money and space. Seriously. And if my memory serves me right, maybe I'm wrong about this, isn't the House of Windsor like the actual king's family German? They're not even British.
Yeah.
They're German. Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, why are they British rulers? Knock them the fuck out of there.
The country's this big; it was easy to take over. I
Yeah,
don't
right?
know.
Yeah.
No, it's so fucking stupid. Yeah.
They lost to a bunch of Scottish rednecks with sticks.
Drunk,
right?
yeah,
You
drunk,
expect
drunk
from them.
Scottish and
He's
Irish
just-
rednecks. They're like, "Here, have another beer," and they beat them up.
Go into this car that won't magically explode, sir. I promise.
Oh man, I love it. Anything else for your random shit for this month?
No, that was
was it?
pretty much it.
Yeah, it like I don't know. It just
It's like called the Stone of Scone, and it's spelled scone, but called Scone. Because they can't pronounce shit. I guess. I don't know.
so Blue Lion threw in the chat the Blarney Stone. What the fuck is the Blarney Stone? And oh my
so
god, Em, that looks delicious. What is that?
It's so good.
Arnold Palmer's spiked lemonade.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Oh my god, I have to try that. I've never even seen that in stores. Where did you get it? Don't tell me like the gas
Stewart.
station. Damn it!
Yeah. Stuart.
You know how far the first Stewart's is away from me?
I do.
I'm sure
I
they
do.
have it at like a beer distributor.
Oh man. Chris even
Everything's
says that's
far
good
away from you,
shit.
Turek.
That is very accurate.
He
Yes.
doesn't
I'll
know
bring
it's
one to your
freaking more out there.
barbecue.
You're,
So-
there you go.
The Blarney Stone is a hunk of limestone that was built into the battlements of Blarney Castle in County Cork, Ireland. The gift of eloquence is said to be given to those who kiss it. To kiss the stone, visitors have to bend over backwards from a high drop. And apparently there's a lot of Irish weddings that go down there.
Yeah, that's the one.
Absolutely
That's the
not.
one that you got to kiss upside down while they hold your feet off the fucking castle because they're all morons. Yeah.
Nope.
I'm sure
What do
that
you expect from Irish
That's why they consume a lot of alcohol there, because
Right?
they're fucking morons.
I'm sure they don't freaking I'm sure they don't wash that thing. Like now you're just swapping spit with all these fucking tourists. Yum.
For all you know, some
alcohol
schmuck could have kissed it with like
Oh,
rupees or
fuck.
something.
I
Yeah.
always said that when you go to like a Catholic church and take communion. I'm like, how well do they clean that thing?
They probably
Not
don't.
very.
Yeah, not very. Just gross. Ugh.
They don't wear
They-
gloves. Every time you get the wafer, it's like, there you go, more saliva, more saliva, more
Yup.
saliva.
Oh yeah, here you go.
Eat the
Yeah.
wafer. Eat the wafer.
Bleh.
No,
Yuck.
no.
Sorry.
It's the faith that's supposed to help you be healed forever. or
Right.
something.
Yep.
I don't know.
Which, you know,
That's
that's all fine
you
and
see
dandy,
how well
whatever,
that
but
worked
I
during
don't
the
want
breeding?
dysentery and shit from people. Like, yuck.
Yeah, but
Did you see how
everybody
well
was
the
like,
religion
"Oh,
worked
I'm not."
during the Black Plague.
That's how they probably spread it. Yeah. That is true.
Well, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not leaving my house for COVID," but don't worry, I'll go to church and take communion.
Right. Yeah, and
Cool.
Blue Lion even just said that all they do is they wipe the rim when you
Yeah,
when you
with
take
the magic
wine.
white cloth
Right.
that was that was saved with words or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No.
Oh yeah. Bleh. Sorry. Nope. Not happening. So Miss Emily, I have a story for
Oh boy.
nurses or bitches, but I'm curious
Oh,
if
good.
you have nurses or bitches story for tonight.
Oh,
I
have
actually
one
don't
too.
have I don't have a nurse one. I have a medic one though.
All right. Well, I'm gonna run your intro as
Do it.
nurses or bitches. And we'll just say that it's a paramedic and a paramedic's observation of nurses or bitches tonight. So let's go.
Did it play?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, I didn't hear it. So, the other day I was on a call. I had a patient with back pain. My partner's taking it with the medic. And she has a pseudo seizure. So they scream up to me. I'm driving. They scream up to me. Now, let me set the stage because I am in the middle of fucking nowhere. I am like way up a hill
Gilboa
in the middle of nowhere.
Or
No, a little closer to civilization, but like definitely not relevant to anything, right?
okay.
So they scream up and they're like, hey, step it up. And I was like, okay. I didn't change anything because I am in the middle of nowhere. My lights are not going to do shit for the deer that's out here. Nothing. So they tell me 3 more times, and I finally turn around and was like, treat the fucking patient and I'll get to the hospital safe. Both paramedic and EMT get into the middle of the little area there, and they tell me to step it up. And I was like, how about you take care of the patient? They didn't do jack shit for this patient, but they spent 10 minutes telling me to go faster in the middle of nowhere. I passed 3 cars from the time I left the house to the time I made it to the hospital. 3.
Like, what?
They got this fun stuff now I hear that helps with seizures.
But it's a pseudo seizure. It's not a real seizure.
Starts,
It's fake.
starts with the M thing. Midazolam. Yeah, I hear.
Oh,
where it's from.
weird.
Yeah.
So I said that from the driver's seat. We get into the hospital, right? And they don't update the hospital that this has happened. They still think this is some BS back pain. So we're sitting there and she's like, oh, she's going to go into a seizure again. So like they get the docs to come over and blah, 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 whatever. And they were like, oh, we'll give her meds. And the medic goes, oh, well, I don't have my narc pouch. And I was like, oh my God.
Like, what? Like, what the fuck?
I'm going to let you two turn this patient over and I'll grab some supplies.
Yeah, right.
I'm not
like,
fucking dealing
I
with this.
don't want to be anywhere near you. Bye. Yeah.
And then it gave me a 20-minute lecture on it was really imperative that I went lights and sirens in the middle of nowhere. I would have gone any faster.
To save a minute.
Yep.
Not even.
Not even. Especially with being that far out there. You got to worry about turns and deer. Fuck that. Nope. Not happening.
Yep.
That's all right. Freaking on the same driving thing before I get to my observation of bitchy nurses. I'm sitting in a call and I'm, in the back with my patient. Next thing I know, we abruptly come to a stop. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Maybe we're at a light or this, that, the other thing. Cool. Okay. Next thing I know, I hear the backup alarm start and we start moving backwards in the middle of the road. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? I look out the back doors. There's a beautiful set of headlights that are getting bigger in the back windows. So I'm like, fucking car. And they're like, boom, crunch.
Wow.
And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, yep, this is great. Thanks.
Was Stevie
Fabulous.
Wonder your driver?
Huh?
Was Stevie Wonder your driver?
I don't fucking know, dude. But, oh, man.
Don't put that Corey like that.
It was freaking hilarious. Like, instantaneously, I missed Corey. Because I know Corey wouldn't have done that. Even when he was blind as a bat driving at night.
Even when he couldn't see shit.
He wouldn't have done that.
Why are we backing up in the middle of the road to begin with?
Fuck if I know, man. Fuck if I know.
Did
Like,
the UFO land in the middle of the road?
I don't know if they missed their turn or whatever, but yeah, like typically we don't just back up in the middle of the road. Maybe.
I don't know. I was at the hospital the other day and I watched an ambulance. So there's like the awning and then maybe a solid 10 feet back is like the building. They went straight into the building. Like, did not question it at all. They get out like nothing fucking happened. Like the security guard are sitting there like, you just hit the building. And they're like, oh, okay. And walk right in with the patient.
Like, didn't even give
Nothing.
2 fucks less.
Nope,
That's
nothing. They come back out,
phenomenal.
we're like, do you want us to call the cops? Do you need like an accident report? And he was like, nah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. I don't know what the heck was going on, but yeah, clearly they had somewhere backwards to go, and that car just impeded their pathway.
At my new job, I've been dealing with someone who doesn't know the area well. So every trip to the hospital is a new adventure.
Is his name Chris?
No.
I was just gonna say that.
We love you, Chris. Thanks for watching.
Yes.
Come on, Captain Marshmallow.
It's almost as bad. But it's a choose your own adventure path to the hospital.
Oh.
I look out the ambulance and I go, where the fuck are you going? Well, the GPS told me to go this way.
Nope.
Holy fuck, no.
Yeah, stop it. GPS doesn't matter. Yeah, so as most of you guys know, Jess is finishing up her paramedic ride time.
There he is.
Yep, damn you, Emily. From Chris. So, like I said, as you guys know,
where the fuck are you going? I go
Jess-
this way sometimes. No.
You never go this way anytime.
So Jess is finishing up her medic ride time, right, to get dual certified. And she comes home one day and she's like, you know, honey, she's like, I've beat up on you a lot through the years about being mean to nurses and whatever, but I get it. Like, I get it now. And I was like, okay, what? Like, what happened that you understand why I'm so bitchy to nurses? And she's like, I did a nursing home call today. And she had never done a nursing home call with EMS before. You know, even as an EMT, like, never had done a nursing home call. So she walks in nursing home.
Blessed.
Right? Yeah.
How fucking lucky is that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, never did it as an EMT, never has done one as a flight nurse, never has been in, in that capacity. And so she does her first one today, and she's like, that day, and she's like, yep. I walk in, and I asked for, what's going on, and they said all the perfect quintessential things. The girl said, I'm new here, it's not my floor. And this isn't my patient. And then
they were fine 10 minutes ago.
So they said that they didn't know when the last known well was, but they went on rounds this morning and they were just fine. This is how I found them. And I was like, okay. I was like, hold on, because you said all the things. Like, everything that we poke fun about, this girl has said. I was like, the icing on the cake. Did they say they would check the notes? And she's like, yes. I was like, and what did they say when the notes came back and didn't have anything written in? And she's like, they said nothing was written in. And I was like, field goal. It's like, this is why I hate nurses. And she's like, I totally get it now. She's like, I always thought that you were really mad, like just an angry person towards these nurses. And I never understood why. And she's like, now I get it. I was like, that's a win.
I went to a local hospital the other day with a patient who was in DKA, so I didn't have much information, so from the patient or the family, because nobody has a clue what's going on. So I'm walking in the door, and I literally, our lovely new app we have to use to the hospital. So I throw all the information in that I could get. I get to the hospital. The nurse is like, "We didn't have much information to go on." I was like, "I didn't have much information to give you, other than these things."
Right.
So she keeps going, and I'm like, "We don't have much of a picture." I point to the patient. I'm like,
"There's your fucking
right
picture."
there.
There's your picture.
Yeah.
And she keeps just going, and I'm like, "You're not helping." So I'm trying to walk the patient to the doctor's like, "Can we get the patient to the room? He doesn't look very good." And I was like, "It's a good idea." So we're walking away, and she just keeps going. It's like, well, sometimes they'll people will call from the home. If this, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have to. I'm doing some providers will actually want to help their patients before they worry about what I put in the app.
Yeah.
We try to do things for our patients to keep them
God
alive.
fucking forbid.
It
Fuck.
gets me every time.
Oh, fuck
You
that
just
app.
Every time they'll get an EMS that comes in and they're like, well, they didn't do this, this, and this. And I was like, go work on an ambulance and see how much time you actually have.
That's where I went. I turned around and said, maybe if you would, come ride us on an ambulance, you'll have less time to fucking argue with us and more time to fucking know what we do on our job.
Yeah. God forbid. That's below them. They wouldn't do that.
So when I first went to the hospital that I work at, I really pushed. Like, I really thought that ER nurses need to do one shift on an ambulance. And they did it until COVID hit. And then it kind of went away. So I think I'm going to push that again.
Yeah.
Because I got it passed. Like, they approved it. And they all came back and they were like, this is insane. And I was like, so don't give them a hard time.
Right.
Enough.
I think it's imperative that we start crossing the bridge.
Yeah.
Both directions. Like, EMS should go into the hospital. Hospitals should come into EMS,
But we do our.
But
our hospital
I
time.
agree.
Yeah.
In general, I think that pre-hospital does a good job getting into the hospital. EMTs do hospital time, even if it's just 8 hours, whatever.
They at least see it.
One shift, right? One shift. I just want nurses to do one shift in an ambulance.
Yeah.
And then you can shut the fuck up.
Right. And
I did a
the
hospital
agency
transfer the other day with a heart transplant patient. I had 2 nurses with me, and they looked at us and they're like, I couldn't do this every day. And I was like, this is only one trip.
Yeah.
Do this for 12 hours.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's, and the big thing that I'm thinking of is, like, I really want them to not just go with any Joe Schmo, because then they could see Joe Blow ambulance guy who just blows everything and sucks at his job and then they're like, oh yeah, these are the providers that we, these are the firemen that bring in, the stroke that has nothing and didn't even know it was a stroke. Oh yeah, whatever. It's just they're faking it. We were 5 minutes. You fucking deal with it. You want them to go with good providers,
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if it'll ever happen, in the big sense that, we all hope it would, I don't know. Maybe it will.
I had it. There was like 8 months that every single new nurse that came to my hospital did one 12-hour shift on an ambulance.
Yeah. I think that should be a state mandated thing. Go through the regions and there you go. Have at it. I like it. So I got some trivia questions for you guys tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully they won't be too terrible for you guys. But let's.
It's all movie quotes, Emily. Sorry.
I'm done.
No.
I'm pulling up Solitaire right now.
Italian movie quotes.
So let's.
It could be English movie quotes. I don't care.
We gotta do it all in Italian.
It's a little bit of a mixed bag. So let's get started with trivia tonight. All right. Let's see. I'm hoping, please God, that these things work. All right, that one works. I don't know if the questions will work. I'm really hoping they do. We shall see. All right. Numero uno. Yes, it did actually work. Before the 19th century, the living room was originally called what?
This is a sitting room.
Yep, sitting room.
Before the 19th century, the living room was originally called what?
Are we supposed to raise our hands?
No, you just toss out answers. You know the drill by now.
Okay.
So Chris is throwing out den. You guys are throwing out sitting room.
Wasn't it a parlor?
Emily and Valerie have parlor.
Isn't the parlor's like a dining room, right?
WW2 girl
I don't
throws
know.
in parlor. I'm gonna say that the girls have it with parlor. 100%
Wow.
correct. My correct and wrong sound effects aren't working tonight. I'm sorry, guys. I might be able to fix that really quick.
It's only because the girls won. That's why. I get it.
Let's see. Where is?
Well, girls spent a lot of time in the parlor back in those days, so they know.
Oh,
So we knew what it was called.
That's right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yep, gotta love it.
We're gonna get canceled.
We will never.
Morehouse is gonna take offense to it.
We'll never get canceled. It'll be fine. I think I just put on the that was hilarious. I just put on the correct in the wrong and the wrong in the correct because I'm a moron, and that's
When will then be now?
soon.
Who's on first?
All right.
Who's on
Now-
first? What's on second? I don't know. Who's on third?
Now they should work. All right. That's right. Blue Lion said parlor games, right? You did the
First
games
thing.
in the sitting room, right?
Yes.
In the parlor.
That's what I was thinking.
All right. Mr. Fisherman Mahabuchi, if you don't get this one, we have problems. All right. Number
Oh
two.
God, Corey.
Yup. Chartreuse is a color between yellow and what? Chartreuse is a color between yellow and what?
Want me to let other people guess first before I say
Sure,
it?
sure.
Yellow and it's yellow and green.
It's yellow and green.
Yeah.
We are gonna say
Correct!
correct on green. What's on second? I don't know's on third. Val, WW2 girl, and Chris all say green. Good job, guys. All right, think about advertising on this one. How many varieties are there in Heinz tomato ketchup?
All of them.
Oh.
How many varieties in Heinz tomato ketchup? And it's cheating if you go into your, pantry and look in the bottle. Or look at the bottle,
know that
should
one.
say.
I know that one.
He's throwing up the signals.
Is that real sign language?
All right, we got answers. Val,
Sticks?
Blue Lion, lock in. Chris locks in an answer.
57. That's why it's printed on the bottle.
Absolutely correct. 57. Everyone in the chat gets 57 right.
How
Now
the
see-
fuck do you make 57 different kinds of ketchup?
So,
Like,
You remember when they had the teal one?
oh, I do remember,
You remember
the
that?
green
I
one.
do, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this one I put in specifically for the next two. I put in specifically for Gerard, and Gerard has a family
Aw.
thing, and he won't be here. So we're gonna do him. I know he's not gonna watch this, so I might leave him in for next episode, just to
Shut
see
your
if he
mouth.
could get them, and we'll all laugh when he doesn't. All right. So number 4. What was the name of Hugh Hefner's jet? What was the name of Hugh Hefner's
Hefner's
plane?
jet?
Yep, Mr. Playboy himself, Hugh Hefner. I figured between Hugh Hefner and jets, Gerard would know this one. Everybody in the chat is Googling it because they're not throwing up an answer right away.
Big Bunny.
She just Googled it.
was it Big Bunny?
It is 100% Big Bunny. The first patented. This is something I learned going through these answers and questions. The first patented job uniform was the Playboy Bunny. I never knew that either. Yep. And Val, you are 100%. G would know that. He'll also know this one and do an immaculate impression of this person. Who is the oldest man to be People's Magazine Sexiest Man Alive? Who's the oldest man to win People Magazine Sexiest Man Alive?
Sean Connery.
I have no idea.
Sean Connery does make sense.
Emily's throwing in the towel. She's like, I don't fucking care.
I have no idea.
We
I'll
have
take Patricia
Sean.
now.
We have Sean Connery ×3 once in the chat.
Let it snow.
Everybody's picked Sean Connery.
Everyone has picked Sean Connery. It makes the
Really?
most sense.
I don't even know who that is.
What?
How do you not know who Sean Connery is?
James Bond.
Never seen it.
The Rock. Oh, not the
Dwayne
Rock.
Johnson?
No.
I was gonna
fuck.
say
Oh.
Dwayne Johnson or
Yeah, I'm like, what?
The movie The Rock with Nicolas Cage.
Oh my God! I know.
Never
G
seen
does
it.
a fantastic impression of Sean Connery because Sean Connery is correct. The amount of amazing
Wow.
things he was in is just fantastic. So I'm gonna leave those in, and we'll all play dumb and make sure that Gerard gets them next end of tour. All right. For the ex-Floridian in the room, which is no longer in the room, so here we go. My kid would get this one. Gerard would probably know it.
I'm also an ex-Floridian.
Oh, that's true. That is true. You lived way down south.
I did.
All
You
right.
don't count,
so
Aaron.
so you should definitely get this one. Number 6.
Crocodile
How do
eats man.
flamingos get their famous pink color?
How do they get their pink color?
How do flamingos get their famous pink color? They're actually a white bird, but they
it's because of their diet, right?
but they get their pink color somehow. Okay, so
What's
you're
their
saying
diet
you're
that makes them
saying
pink?
Diet. I agree with Emily. What in their diet would make them pink?
What do they eat? Yeah, I don't know what they eat.
I don't even know.
Valerie is throwing out shrimps. Chris is throwing out the
Oh.
old they eat. I don't even know what the fuck things they're smoking in Chris's world.
I'm not a bird man.
Shrimp,
so-
apparently.
Blue
I
Lion
have no
is
idea.
throwing out cocaine. They're hanging around
Ah.
Miami.
Yeah.
Some fish.
I'm pretty sure it is shrimp.
So I'm gonna give shrimp a correct because it is their diet of algae, crustaceans, and shrimp. That the more they eat
Interesting.
of those, the pinker they get. All right, number 7. I just thought this one was cool, so I picked it. One ostrich egg is equal in volume to how many chicken eggs? One ostrich egg, the biggest egg in the world, is how many chicken eggs?
75.
22.
Holy shit. That's a lot. How many did you say, Butch?
22.
22. We have 4 in the chat from Chris. I'm going
An
to say that
ostrich
4
egg is the equivalent to
Four
how
is
many
really
chicken
wrong.
eggs? That's the question.
Yes. Blue Lion's throwing out 30.
24. 2 dozen.
Val's throwing out 36. One of you guys is correct. It is Emily with 2 dozen, 24 chicken eggs.
Seriously?
Yep.
You're-
Yep. 2 dozen chicken eggs equals 1
Wow,
large
cool.
ostrich egg.
Butch, I stole that from you. I did the whole, Price is Right thing, going just above you.
There you go. $1.
All right.
Like, where's your $1, Bob?
Yeah, I have no idea.
This one I didn't even remember it was Coronation Week. But I think this fits in since we're talking about rulers of different countries. All right. Number 7, 8.
12 inches.
8.
Oh, wait. Wrong ruler.
Oh my God. Giggity. Oh my.
Oh, my.
Number 8. The Tudors ruled what country? The Tudors ruled what
Tudors.
country?
Spain.
We're going with Spain. Emily's Googling it on the tablet.
Jane.
I have no idea.
The chat is
Switzerland.
the chat's Googling it. WW2 girl throws in England. Ireland from Chris. Got a bunch of good answers. Only one of them is correct, though, so far.
Oh, wait. No, hold on.
I'm going to give it while
It was England.
Phil is deciding whether or not to change his answer. I'm going to give
It's
it
England.
to WW2 Girl. It
Correct!
is 100% England. This was Henry
Ooh.
VIII, right? Henry VIII was a tutor.
A tutor.
Okay?
Off with a head.
Off with the head. All right, number 9.
9 times.
Going
Man made pimpin' look easy.
seriously, right? Until he died of a freaking gangrenous ulcer. All right, number 9. We're going to Walmart.
Correct!
Oh, that's the wrong button. What
Look
is
at that,
the
we all
most
got it right.
frequently sold item at Wally World? What is the most frequently sold item at Wally World? And no, it is not condoms.
In the parking lot or in the store?
In the store.
Okay.
It's gotta.
At Walmart, shampoo?
That's a really good fucking guess.
I have no idea.
Pregnancy tests.
Plan B.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, there are some good things coming in. Soda, cigarettes, both really good.
Since
Yeah,
when
I was
the
gonna
fuck
say
did you buy
cigarettes.
cigarettes at Walmart?
Beer, also really good.
Doritos.
Oh,
It's gotta be pregnancy tests.
Baby
Doritos,
clothes.
Baby
Have
clothes.
you seen the people who go into
Pajamas.
Walmart?
I would say anything extra large would be perfect.
Not toothpaste.
Not toothpaste. Oh, maybe that's what we should do on one of these episodes is go to that People of Walmart website and just rag on people.
Oh,
It'd be perfect. No one said the right answer. The right answer is actually bananas. Bananas.
really?
Yeah. Apparently, the article that I was reading said that they are cheap, they last a while, and people and kids love them. So the sales numbers actually show that bananas are the most frequent purchase in Walmart. I wouldn't have guessed bananas either.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Anything on a snap card. Love it. All right, last one for trivia for this week. Where would you find an ISBN number? Where would you find
On a
it?
book.
On a book.
On a book.
On a book is correct. They have bananas at Super Walmart, but not regular Walmarts. I have not seen a regular Walmart anywhere in my
it
area
is.
in 15 years. So where the fuck are you shopping at Walmart, Val? So yeah, you guys did really good in trivia tonight. I picked easy questions for you guys, apparently. This is great. I'm going to have to save those other two. Rotterdam doesn't have a Super Walmart? How's that even fucking possible?
No way. Schenectady does.
Right. Like, that doesn't compute in my brain.
Oh,
I don't believe
there's
it.
there's like 5 streets in Rotterdam, so you know.
Oh my God, it was so funny. Jess was doing calls in Gloversville, and she's like, this town is, no. I'm like, yup,
In Gloversville?
Wasteland
Yeah.
out there.
yup. Yeah, she was doing ride time out there, and yeah, she's like, oh my God, no. Like, I don't understand why this town exists.
It's a struggle. That's what she left me with.
Yeah. Oh, I'm well aware. Lots of fun, just for you. She misses it every day, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm sure. I curse her every day for leaving me.
I'm sure you do. Oh, man. NL is a great hospital. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
That's never been said by anybody in the world.
It's never been said by one of their patients because they're dead when they leave.
I'm sure they have great Prescani scores.
I'll let you guys debate that one. I'm staying out of that one. Yeah, nah, JK. Yep. Better JK and roll that back. Love it. Oh, man.
I've taken some transfers out of there that have been pretty shady, I can tell you.
Oh, yes. I've
Yep.
heard of a bunch of shady ones coming out of there. Absolutely.
Look at the doctor, be like, Doc, I need this. Well, never mind. I'll just do what I need to do in the rig.
Yeah.
I'll just take you out of the equation.
I just won't let them die. Thanks. Bye.
Better that way.
Right?
I'll just play paramedic when I get you out of the equation. Thanks.
So, before we wrap it up with what you didn't fuck up this week, I had a question. Jess posed it to me while doing ride time. And I posed it to you guys. What is your thought process and idea between, primary and comprehensive stroke centers? If you're close to a primary stroke center, do you take them there? If say the comprehensive is like an hour away, or do you just bypass that primary and go straight to the comprehensive, no matter what?
Go to the comprehensive.
The comprehensive. I mean,
What's your reasoning behind that?
the whole like time is tissue thing. The longer that they sit at the primary, if it's a bleed or something, the primary stroke center can't handle, you're wasting more and more brain tissue.
Which is quite literally everything.
Right.
And they're even though certain hospitals say, yeah, we're a stroke center, just because you could do a CT or an MRI and throw a little TPA at somebody doesn't make you a stroke center.
They don't even use TPA anymore.
I know.
It's TNK now.
Yeah.
First of all, but like the
That
fact that
sounds
I can do
ghetto.
TNK means nothing to
Yeah.
any real stroke.
Yeah. And this was kind of the thing that I said to her, in just like, hey, like, I used to work where I did a stroke literally, and I am not lying, across the street from the primary stroke center. 30 feet across the street, and I would have been at a stroke center, but I drove 45 minutes to the comprehensive.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to get the transfer in an hour
Yeah.
anyway. Even if they're, within their window, even if they're outside their window, whatever, Em, you brought it up early, like, way early on the podcast that the window is not just 4 hours anymore. It's, pushed to 6, 8, 10, a full day later,
Yeah.
that we don't have to sit there and worry about 4-hour windows anymore. And yeah, it just kind of boggled my mind that, people still go like, yup, it's a stroke center, we're going to go there. And they don't do the best, they don't pick the best option. So I was just I knew what you guys were going to say. I just kind of wanted to, air it out there again. Like, hey, why are we doing this? I don't know if it's laziness or, what, but.
Because they can get back in service sooner and go play with their shiny fire trucks.
But like, especially for my hospital, there is no difference in time. There's no way that is a significant difference.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like, we get these stroke patients constantly, like, we'll give them TNK, but they're still going to the comprehensive stroke center.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense,
Yeah.
Oh,
frustrating.
man. Blue Lion saying TNK should be coming to the field. I haven't heard a thing about that.
I think it is. I
Yeah.
agree.
It'd be interesting to see. It'd be really interesting to see. But yet they still won't. They'll let us do this and, clotting agents and stuff like that.
DXA.
But they won't let us do antibiotics for sepsis patients. It's fucking unbelievable. But
Or,
Wait till they take away
blood.
intubation.
I've been waiting for it for years, Em. I've been
Oh, it's
waiting for
coming.
it for
It's
years.
so
Wait till they
bad.
Wait till they pull ketamine away.
I'm waiting for that
They
too.
already have.
So I looked into that bill that you sent me, and that bill was stricken from the assembly. So it's
Yeah.
not actually being voted on or debated or anything right now. It's just sitting, which is nice. But at the same point, they're already looking to limit your ketamine usage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, it just shows, and we talk about it all the time, especially on the podcast, how much we suck with things. Ketamine's one of those things. Like, I called for ketamine literally a week ago. Got it for abdo pain. Gave 50 of ketamine for abdo pain in, 2 shots, 25 and 25 in drips. Worked amazing for this lady.
Mm-hmm.
And, I called the doc, got orders. It was grand, but end title's on, my BVM's out. Like, I'm doing all the things to get ready for, in case, God forbid, I'm not pushing this. It's through a drip, whatever. And yeah, and other people don't even put them on end title. They're like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Slam. Why are they dead and not breathing? I don't fucking know. It's fucking crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Or they do what other states do. We did that one review where, they pushed like 500 of ketamine. Lady's dead.
Oh my God.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how do you do that? But that's for a different day. So let's get into, for those that are wearing headphones, I'll lower the volume for you guys. What didn't you guys fuck up this week? So I'm going to start with Phil, because he was angry I didn't let him talk. So now I'm forcing you to talk.
Yeah, that's all
They were
right.
asking about your Phil counter, and I had to say Butch forgot the counting device, so we can't do it tonight. Boo.
Yeah, blame me. I got, big shoulders. Well, not as big, but I still got big shoulders.
I mean, it was Chris that brought it up, so, we don't really care what he thinks.
Yeah. Tell him to go back and play volunteer firefighter. He'll be all right.
Boo. Yeah, we're going to have... So, I'm going to make that medley, and I think we're going to postpone our bashing on International Firefighter Day for 2 weeks and wait until Gerard's back. And then bash the silly firemen. Oh, yeah, it's Firefighter Day.
Yeah, the
Where's our
firefighter.
nozzles?
Yay!
Oh, it'll be great. All right, Phil, what didn't you fuck up? And it can't be dinner because Gerard's not here.
So I got a compliment from the CAF team for my stemming I brought in on Tuesday.
All right.
I didn't fuck that
There
up.
you go.
What kind of compliment?
So dude ended up having 100% occlusion of the right circumflex artery. I did all the things, aspirin, pressure was too soft for nitro. Transmitted, called, and the time from when I first got there to him actually getting the cath was like 58 minutes.
Nice.
Wow. That's awesome.
That deserves a fuck yeah. Like, sweet. Mr.
you.
Maha,
Yeah.
what didn't you fuck up this week?
I had to sort through all the fuck ups first, and then what didn't I fuck up?
I love how this is such a hard question for people.
See, I've yelled at nurses, I've yelled at partners, I've yelled at firefighters.
You're really loving that new job, aren't you?
I am. It's amazing.
So
I get to yell at all the people.
if you didn't fuck something up, throw it in the chat. WW2 Girl says she didn't fuck up on helping with a medical emergency this morning. Worked with a retired medic that they've never met. Bolt did a great job. Did patient care until the EMS people arrived. Took over the scene and took over. So they didn't kill their patient.
girl.
So good job on that one.
Oh, yeah!
I don't know. I fucked up a lot. So what didn't I fuck up? I didn't get fired, so that's a good thing. I mean,
There you go.
That is, in your predicament
Take
right
it as a
now,
win.
I'm going to take that as a win. All right,
Can't get
let's
fired
just
if
put
you
it that way.
I've argued with management. I've argued with everybody I've argued with. I'm still have a job there, so I mean, there's that.
There is that. I like it. Em, what didn't you fuck up this week?
I showed up every single day to work on time.
Hold on. What? You're the proverbial
For
not
every-
on time.
For every single job, I showed up on time.
Wow. That's like an
Yeah,
accomplishment
thank you.
of the year, not like the week.
Thank
We
you.
don't even need to ask her
Thank you.
anymore.
Oh, that
I'm
ain't
done.
fair.
That's unfucking believable right there.
Literally.
Right? That's wild. So I will say that I didn't fuck up baseball practice this week. We had baseball practice twice this week. No kids got injured. Kids actually hit the ball, threw the ball to each other. Nobody broke their nose. And I didn't have to yell at anybody too bad to where they were crying. So I call that a win-win situation for me.
100%.
Yep. And I didn't kill kids at Roman's soccer practice because, again, I'm not typically one of those people that, I'm not the screaming parent from the sidelines. Like, I hate people who are like that. However, my oldest is really good at soccer, and he can dribble really well, and he's fast. And he goes on breakaways, and he's halfway down the field. Next thing you know, one of his own teammates comes over, steals the ball from him to do their own breakaway. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I just want to beat these kids into the ground. But nope. I restrain. So there's another. I didn't fuck it up. I like it. Yeah, so anything else to add before we get out of here, guys? We ran a tad bit late, but we also, started a little bit late. No big deal. If there isn't anything you guys want to say, I'll close the show with make sure to check out Patreon. You guys do miss a lot of really fun stuff on Patreon. We have to get together and record this month's Patreon episode, which is going to be really interesting. Phil, are you doing it, or is it one of my calls? I don't remember.
I mean, I could do it if you want.
No, I honestly didn't remember. I have one ready to go, but
Well, I have a few of them ready to go.
yeah, it'll be really interesting. Patreon is always fun, and I will throw up that I will see if I can get a Medic Materials belt, but in the meantime, I'll see what kind of a belt I should put up from any company. I'll even throw like Impact and AEW up there, or ECW up there. Just to
Blasphemy.
Oh, dude, just to see what people pick. I love it. But till next time, guys, thank you very much for hanging out with us. We are going to be back with Joni Bonilla on the podcast on May 19th, Friday, May 19th. And, we will see you then, 9 o'clock. Make sure you get your Cronuts and your merch, medicmaterials.com. Sign up for Patreon. All the links are below. Thank you guys very, very much. Love you guys all. And, we're out of here. See you later. Goodbye.
Bye.